All right, time for the Sunday recap on a Tuesday. Kevin Bulk, Michael Merlo coming to you for BTO Media. First on the docket, Mike, from a good Sunday. We got almost every game to go through, but we're going to skip that morning game. Panthers, Falcons. Every time we rule out Bryce Young, he has a career day. Here he was against Atlanta, in Atlanta, completely burying them, ending their season. Penix gets hurt. Drake London gets hurt. We can start on Carolina getting the win and moving to 6-5 now, firmly in the wild card race and in that hunt for a playoff spot. Really big win for the Panthers who sweep the Falcons.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head there. It was this feeling that Bryce wasn't really taking that next step. We haven't seen it all season long. And then he has his best game of the year. What a game from him. It was a great game late. Panthers come back. They're able to get the win in overtime. It was that game that we were all waiting for from Bryce Young. And, we had conversations actually during the week about who's going to be that next young quarterback to get paid, or who's going to be that quarterback that a team gives up on, and that guy goes to a Kevin O'Connell or a Kyle Shanahan and turns his career around. And Bryce Young is kind of in the middle of that conversation. Bryce Young could either be the guy that gets picked up by a good offensive coach or gets paid a crap ton of money we don't believe he should be paid. And he's still firmly in that conversation for both sides. But after a week like this, where they get a win and they have a winning record, I think the Panthers may start to think that they have their franchise quarterback here.
I think that they at least are in a position where they're comfortable with him going into year 3 or year 4. It would be next year. I think that they're at least calm and comfortable about we can give him the 5th-year option go into next year, and we don't think there's too much serious risk here to us being completely awful. Rest of their schedule is tough for Carolina. I don't think they get into the postseason. I'd said a few weeks ago I think they will, but the 3 teams in the North and the 3 teams in the West are just too much right now for Carolina to potentially get a playoff spot, unless they're going to win their division, which we can talk about in a little bit. But they play at San Francisco next week, home against the Rams. You probably lose both. At New Orleans, I'm not convinced that's a Panthers win, but it probably will be, so I'll give it to them, but I'm not convinced about it. And then their last 3 games are Tampa twice and Seattle. So they might only win 1 game the rest of the way here in Carolina.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely possible. But they've had this season where I think we're just all kind of surprised that they have the record that they have. And I don't think anybody really expected this team to make the playoffs. They're 6-5. And if they got to 7 or 8 wins, I sort of feel like, and Young started to play a little better towards the end here and finish out the year strong. I think if they won 7 or 8 games, they're sitting there saying, okay, maybe we have our quarterback and maybe we have our coach. Let's improve this roster a little bit and really get our answers next season on the 2 most important pieces of your franchise.
Yeah, definitely possible. Let's flip it over to Atlanta, who's 3-7. But if you're a Falcons fan, at least you have, you're going to get another top 10 pick that you could take a running back or a tight end with. Oh, no, you're actually not, because the best team in the NFC has your draft pick. And you're absolutely terrible. Your quarterback might be out for the rest of the season. He has not looked good this year anyways. So now you're stuck at 3-7 with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback the rest of the year. Your premier wide receiver probably out for the next month, if not the rest of the season. Your head coach stinks. And Mike, let's go really big picture here. How do you even clean house and then sell a new group on, you can come in here, inherit a 3 or 4 win team with terrible financial problems, no first-round pick, and no quarterback?
Yeah, it's crazy how this is kind of flipped here on Penix after, he gets the job last year, and I think me and you had a little bit of optimism on what he could do. This would easily be the worst job in the league for any GM and coach. And we went on, you really got on them last week about just, basically joking around that they don't have this first round pick. Now it's like a real story because of how bad they are and they don't have a quarterback. It is a mess. It's probably one of the worst situations in the league. I think a top 5 worst situation in the league. And it'll be the worst job opening 100% this offseason.
I just don't think it's going to open. Yeah, I don't think it's going to open because of this.
You don't think this is going to open at all?
No, I don't think you could.
GM.
I don't think you could rationally look at this and say, I'd punt on next year. I really would. And I hate to say like it's a tank year, but I'd just say I think we don't have the right guys here, but I don't want to start a new cycle. One, with the coaching candidates that are out there this offseason. Do I really want to force in a Vance Joseph or Robert Saleh into this situation? And then 2, I'd rather just see what happens with these guys next year, give them the 3rd season, and then fire everybody next year with a good draft and with resources back.
Potential quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's just I would just give them all another year instead of starting a whole new cycle, because you're probably going to want to fire whoever at the end of next year too.
Well, I mean, yeah, and you're probably going to have a top pick no matter what. You're going to have a top 10 pick in next year's draft anyway. And they were competitive, this team early on. You know, I thought this was a playoff team coming into this season, a 9-8, 10-7 team, and they absolutely aren't. Michael Penix is not a franchise quarterback, and you know the biggest thing that I think a lot of people had issue with him coming into the league at the age and the history that he had was the injury. It's flaring up again. So out on Penix, out on Raheem Morris. This front office was a joke anyway. It's bad.
It's really bad. Let's go to the Bucs and Bills, where Tampa their defense again just gets gashed by an AFC East powerhouse. Patriots did it last week. A lot of big plays for the Patriots and Bills the last 2 weeks against Tampa. They lose the game. Buffalo wins at home. We finally get a glimpse of MVP Josh Allen, who I think actually firmly put himself in the driver's seat to win it again this year with his performance on Sunday. I know he's not the odds-on favorite right now. The stats don't look like it, but you have to figure his pace for the final 6 weeks of the season, or final 7 games of the season, will be better than the pace of the guys around him in that MVP race. But big win for Buffalo, one they had to have if they want to keep their division hopes alive.
6 touchdowns for Josh Allen, 3 rushing, 3 passing. This was a back-and-forth game all day until the end when the Bills pull away. And I think you obviously have to have questions about whether or not this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team can compete with the elite teams in the NFL. Right now, the answer is no. You lose to New England at home. You go to Buffalo. You're close. Lose the lead late. Lose the game late, and it didn't even feel close towards the end. I think there's serious questions about Tampa Bay right now, but for Buffalo, they needed this one, and it did not start off well. You had a couple of turnovers there by Josh Allen, where they were first or second year Josh Allen turnovers, and you're sitting there shaking your head. Josh Allen, I agree with you. I think they have to win the division. I think the winner of the division is most likely going to win the MVP. If he comes back and wins the division, I think he gets the MVP.
I'm really having trouble with the May MVP case, and it's not being a hater. I just
what is it though?
He's going to end the season with like 3,600 yards and 31 touchdowns, and Stafford's going to have over 40. Allen's going to have over 40. Jonathan Taylor's going to have the year he's having. Myles Garrett might break the sack record, and I just don't think that May, with that, I know like the nickname now, and it's kind of funny, is the schedule. That's what Patriots fans are calling him.
Yeah.
This is what everyone keeps talking about, but I don't think May with 31, 32 touchdowns and 7 interceptions without getting 4,000 yards with the schedule they played is going to get him an MVP over the stats Allen or Stafford are inevitably going to end up with.
Well, I think Stafford, especially if they end up being the 1 seed and the year kind of goes the way we talked about last week, where it's a 40 touchdown, 5 interception season for him. I would agree with you. I would vote for Stafford, but right now I think this conversation is fully in the Northeast. It's focused around these two guys, I believe.
And you know what I think hurts May also is you look at the upcoming schedule. I'm going to pull it up quickly because I was looking at this the other day. And the upcoming schedule, you play Cincinnati this week. You probably get some stats in Cincinnati this week. Then you're going to play the Giants at home. You're going to play Buffalo, then Baltimore, the Jets, the Dolphins. A lot of those games, besides the Cincinnati game, are going to be run the ball, control time of possession. I don't think May is going to just pile up these stats the last 6 weeks either. I think May gets one eventually. Like, I definitely think he's an MVP level quarterback. But I feel like Allen's just going to go on a tear for this division the last 6 weeks and win it.
Do you think they're going to win the division?
I think they are, but whether they do or not, I think Allen's going to win the MVP.
Okay. I mean, it all comes down to that game. When is that? 2 or 3? Is that week?
It's December 14th. It's
December 14th.
4 weeks from now.
Okay. So in a month from now, as long as these two are keeping pace with where they are right now, that game is going to be for the division.
Yeah, it's going to be for the division. Probably.
And that's going to be sick.
Because Buffalo's schedule the rest of the way is easier. They have the easier end of it, but they still have to play Philadelphia once. But they play at Houston this week. It'll be a tough game that I think they win. That's the Thursday night game. Then they're at Pittsburgh. If Rodgers is out for a few weeks, that should be an easy win.
And it's a
Even
win
if he's
regardless.
even if he's not,
Easy win
even if he's
regardless.
not. I don't even know why I said that. Long week going to Pittsburgh. They're going to kill him.
Rodgers.
Home against Cincinnati. Burrow's back for that game. Interesting one. But then you're in New England on the 14th. Last 3 weeks, you get the Browns, Jets, and Eagles. So maybe you lose to Philly at the end of December. But even then, in Buffalo, I would take the Bills in Buffalo to beat Philadelphia.
There's a loss on New England's schedule. There's a guaranteed loss on New England's schedule.
Is this the joke loss on the Monday night game, or is
this
the Baltimore game?
This is the Baltimore game.
I've been saying that remember that 12 or 13 win overreaction I had in like week 3 about the Patriots?
Yeah.
This was one of my lock L's at Baltimore. You're not winning that game.
This is a loss. This is like a 10-point loss.
Wow.
Okay?
I think this is a good game, shootout type of game.
I think this is a 10-point loss for New England.
I think this is one of those both teams have just had 6 or 7, 8 great weeks of defense, and they're like, where'd our defense go? Both teams.
Yeah. No, it's a bad game. It's a bad game for me.
All right, so either way, Bills, good win for Bills over Bucks. Absolutely had to have it. Let's bounce to, the most surprising result of the day for me, Jaguars Chargers. If you told me the Jags are going to beat the Chargers in Jacksonville, fine. I probably would have picked it. 35-6 was unprecedented.
This team is done. This Charger team is done. I understand they're banged up. I get it, but Herbert is just awful in this game, and it felt like a good spot. Felt like almost a desperation spot for Jacksonville at home. But, man, you expect a little bit more from Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh here on the road in a game that, is big for the playoff, for the AFC wild card. Yep. You would expect them to really show up here. The defense was terrible. This was a really bad game. I was high on the Chargers coming into the year. Again, I know the injuries killed them, but I think I was missing something in these predictions. I think I was trying to just not pick the Chiefs. It should have always been the Chiefs or, I guess, Denver. But either way, it is just a very disappointing season for a banged-up team, yes, but very disappointing.
And it's just, you go down to Jacksonville, and the worst part of this for me, fine, your offensive line's destroyed. Running backs are all banged up. Herbert gets blitzed, and it was all right. Your offense laid an egg. 6 points is not all right, but fine. Jacksonville's defense has been good this year. The way that the Chargers defense came out for this game was embarrassing. Yeah. Embarrassing game. Jacksonville has struggled on offense all year to actually put the competent Liam Cohen offense that many people probably expected. They've struggled to put that on the field. They put it on the field with ease on Sunday. It was easy for Tootin and the entire running back room to do whatever they wanted all day against the Chargers. And when you give up 35 to the T-Law Chargers, the T-Law Jags, that's a bad day for your defense, man.
Bad day. Bad day. That's not what you want.
And I think no Brian Thomas Jr. in this game too, right? And no Travis Hunter. So
yeah, Thomas didn't play.
It's Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington. These are the guys who are respectable receivers. It's a deep receiver room, but
Tim Patrick,
this is a bad loss.
It's a really bad loss. This team, how could you trust them at all? They're probably going to make the postseason, right? But how could you trust them in the postseason?
I wanted to say this about Tampa, and I'm going to say it about both, and I agree with it with the Chargers. I think the Chargers right now would probably be the 10th best team in the AFC, and I think the Bucs are probably 9th in the NFC.
Interesting. Wow. I don't think I can name 8 teams better than the Bucs in the
You
NFC.
Absolutely can. Eagles, Rams, Bears are the biggest coin flip that I'm going to name. Seattle, Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit. Those are 8 teams.
That's 7.
That's 7, and then they'd be the 8th.
Okay. All right. That's all right.
What did I say? They were 9th? They'd be 8th.
Okay. I could get there.
Because Carolina's the 9. I don't think they're better than Tampa.
They're not better
Dallas
than
is 10. Vikings are 11. I don't think any of them are better.
I can't wait to talk about the Vikings.
And then on the other side for the Chargers, they're just so beat up. That's bad. They got no offensive line. The Becton signing's a disaster.
Yeah.
He's awful. And I could have seen that coming. I was shocked Harbaugh went for that. A guy who let himself go with the Jets completely and then signed the prove-it deal with Philly, and they let him walk right after.
Philly's letting you walk.
Philly's letting you walk after a great year at right guard, and they didn't even meet with him. They were just like, "Yeah, thanks for the Super Bowl.
We got somebody.
We got what we needed from you." And they let him walk out, and now he stinks.
Had the food poisoning early. It's all related back to that. It's all related back.
It's all related back to that.
And maybe he's what was that? He got in trouble? No.
Yeah, he's had some issues.
Yeah, he's got some off-field issues.
He's got some issues. Bears Vikings, maybe the most loaded game to talk about here. Bears 7-3, first place. Ben Johnson doing it in year one. They're the only 7-win team in the North. The Vikings are awful. Their defense is still a Brian Flores defense. They had a chance to win this game late, and they didn't get to stop. Bears end up with the field goal, wins the game, but Minnesota's not good. And I made a video about it yesterday. I'm sure you saw it, but if I was a Vikings fan, I'm in panic mode right now about the entire way this season's gone. I know McCarthy's only played 5 games or 6 games, but he looks terrible. He looks like Zach Wilson.
I saw a couple of tweets today, the last 24 hours. One, I sent to you. Mac Jones is definitely going to sign with the Vikings for $100 million in the offseason. And then there was another one that said the Vikings should cut J.J. McCarthy right now and then re-sign him so that KOC thinks he's fixing him, like fixing a new quarterback.
Yeah. To declare him a draft bust.
Exactly. So sign him again, and then bang, now you're going to get the best out of him. I just can't believe that somebody as smart as Kevin O'Connell, as good of a coach that Kevin O'Connell is, he let not only Sam Darnold walk out the door, but he let Daniel Jones completely walk out the door too. I mean, I know they wanted him back, but they let both of these guys walk out of the building, and now they're having just great success in Seattle and Indianapolis right now. And this team, which has probably the best roster or the second best roster out of all those teams, is struggling mightily with a young quarterback that clearly cannot play.
They can't move the ball. It's so bad. They need to get if they're going to do the JJ thing, which they should, honestly. The NFL's got a quarterback development problem. We all know it. Minnesota should see this through and give him the rookie contract. But if you're going to do that, you have to get an elite running back in here next year. There has to be high draft capital used on a running back because Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason are solid, but they're not elite bell cow running backs. You might want to be trading up for Jeremiah Love if you have to. You might be in a position to just get him outright in the draft. So that's the route you have to go if JJ is going to be your guy for the next 2 years, which, once again, I think he should get that opportunity. The Kevin O'Connell rumors are really interesting because they keep popping up a little bit throughout this season, even when it wasn't terrible and they weren't 2 games under 500. When they were 4-3, there were rumors about it not working out so great and being some friction there. I just wonder if O'Connell has had disagreements with the front office on major quarterback decisions the last 2 years, starting with Kirk Cousins, then going to the draft, then going to Darnold and Daniel Jones. I wonder if he's had serious issues with the front office, and the front office might also be looking at it and saying, we think the best leader and coach on this staff is Brian Flores. So they might be doing the blame game a little bit on why they're sitting at 4-6, pointing the finger, and it might cause a little bit of a rift.
I don't think the issue is going to be with the front office. I think they're probably on the same page in terms of the quarterback. I think the issue that he's probably having is in the locker room.
Okay.
I think those issues start there because, like you mentioned, they probably do believe that Brian Flores is the best leader, that Brian Flores is one of the best coaches, and they probably love Brian Flores. And they're sitting there saying, I'm sure Justin Jefferson and Josh and Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson are sitting there saying, we had one of the best quarterbacks in football last year on this team, and this moron let him go for 9. And now we got to sit here and listen about 9. No, they are probably so frustrated. And I think the issues are probably coming from inside the locker room and not from the front office.
Can we have an honest discussion, though, about potentially pumping the brakes on O'Connell's greatness? And I don't know if I'm ready to do it, but I think we need to have the talk about it because you still do have a great roster here and you're not able to get this quarterback looking right. But in his 4 years now, this is year 4, 4-6, but he's 38-23 overall. He's been a great regular season coach because they have a 13-win season and a 14-win season. He has the 2 best regular seasons in Vikings history. Didn't win a playoff game either years. Went 7-10 in 2023, but that was the Kirk Achilles year, so we can give them the pass on that, even though they did not look like they were going to be a playoff team when Cousins was playing and playing great because their defense was horrible. It's an interesting case study right now in the NFL. Like, is he closer to the Stefanski, Zach Taylor tier of offenses produced? I mean, Stefanski's offense doesn't produce, but it did once. There was a time when it did. But, like you think he's a really good offensive mind. They've had some success, but they might not be in that top 7 coaching category with the Harbaughs, with McVay. He's not even close, but with Andy Reid and those guys, he might not be up there yet. He might be closer to the middle of the league.
I think the work that he's done, even with Cousins, I mean, I know Cousins is older and banged up, but like Cousins can't play. And this guy had, what did they win? 13 games that year. They lost to the Giants in the postseason with him. So I just think that I'll stay on track with how I felt in the offseason, where I just thought this guy was one of the best 3 or 4 coaches. I literally thought he was the 3rd best coach in the league. So
yeah, that's rich, but maybe
that's a lot.
Maybe he's closer to 7 or 8.
He's certainly closer to 7 or 8. I mean, I would definitely take both Harbaughs over him. I would take
like Sean Payton right now is undeniable.
Sean Payton over him, 100%. Obviously, McVay, Reid are above him. I don't know. Ben Johnson. Where's Ben Johnson on this list? Where's Mike Vrabel on this list?
Got to see the playoff from them. Vrabel, I'd take over O'Connell. Where's
McDonald on this list?
McDermott. Your guy. Group in the Packers-Giants game here. The Bears are the best team in the NFC North right now. They're in first place. Are they the best squad?
No, but they're in first place, so let them have their moment. But they're not the best team. If these two, if they played in or even at home against Detroit and at home against Green Bay, they're underdogs. They're underdogs at home. So I would say no, but it's a great story, and I think Ben Johnson's great. And this is going to be an issue for a really long time.
What do you think of the Packers on Sunday?
They weren't. I mean, I thought the Giants controlled the clock. They ran the ball down their throats. And I think if you have any resemblance of a quarterback that you trust to throw the football, and you're still able to do that against that Packer defense, which cannot stop the run, you're going to have issues in the postseason. So I'm out on this Packer team completely. I don't think they win the division. I don't think they're a threat in the postseason because of that run defense and because they don't have wide receivers that make big-time plays. Christian Watson made a big-time play at the end of that game off a perfect throw from Love. But other than that, how many drops did Dobbs have in that game? He was terrible. I mean, Golden barely gets involved in the offense. And they got issues. They got real issues on this team. And Kraft is a massive loss offensively.
Musgrave stinks.
Musgrave stinks. I'm completely. He was a high draft pick too. Musgrave the year before.
I think
Kraft.
he was the same year. They took 2 tight ends on day 2.
Okay.
But he might have been picked before Kraft.
Yeah. No, I'm out. I'm out on this team. I'm done.
How much of this do you think is LaFleur? How much is personnel? I'm having trouble with this the last few weeks because part of me says I watched the game and I don't think anyone on offense besides Kraft and a couple linemen were particularly special. The line's not great this year either in Green Bay. Rare year where I feel like the line is closer to the middle of the pack than the top of the league. But Love looks average on a lot of different occasions. They don't let him rip it, though. Jordan Love's not allowed to throw downfield that often. It's all these bubble screens and inside 3 yards and trying to just get this quick offense going and set up these terrible receivers to have open space. But I don't think that LaFleur's really letting Love play quarterback.
No, I don't think they have. I don't think they have the personnel. I really don't think they have the personnel offensively. And, whether or not that's a play calling issue now where we're not letting him throw the ball down the field, he doesn't have the players to do it, I don't think. Yeah. Now, I don't think he's great, and I don't think he's perfect, but I think it's a personnel issue in terms of who's to blame, LaFleur or the players, because I don't think they have the wide receivers. I don't think they have that at all. And you need to get this guy a number 1 wide receiver. You need to get this guy somebody to rely on because I think the talent's there. And we saw what a number 1 wide receiver has done for so many young quarterbacks around this league over the history of time. Josh Allen gets Diggs, and he became a much more refined quarterback. I think you really need to get him a guy that you feel comfortable throwing to 10 times a game, and he's going to make big-time plays.
It's embarrassing that they haven't already.
No,
Since
it really
Devontae
is.
Adams left, even Rodgers last year, they haven't really put any serious assets into quarterback, and Matthew Golden stinks. So they finally used the first-round pick, and the kid does not look good, and he had a lot of concerns coming out of the draft.
It is remarkable. And again, their defense, I saw Micah Parsons getting into it on Twitter with my guy Colin Cowherd about how, he was talking about the Packers can't stop the run, and Parsons shoots back at him. It was like, we held Barkley to 60 yards. And the argument was, no, the Eagles just can't run the football right now. They're not running the ball well. It wasn't because you held them to 60 yards.
Everybody's holding Barkley to 60 yards.
And then the Giants come in, and they didn't run the ball efficiently, but they ran it down their throats, and they were getting 4 yards a carry. I mean, they ran it so many times and had extended drives.
If you're stopping the run against the Giants at all either, or worse, what happened on Sunday, it's irrelevant because they stink, and they just fired their coach, and their starting running back's not even healthy, and their starting quarterback's not even healthy. They're on QB3 playing.
Who can't run, by the way. Who
cannot run at all.
Worried about in the run game.
Yeah, I'm out on the Packers too.
I'm out on the Packers.
Move on from this game.
You don't want to talk about Mike Kafka?
I have no interest. Do you?
No, I just Abdul sleeping in meetings, and then Cam Scadaboo fighting on Monday Night Raw with Abdul and other guys.
Yeah, I mean, I know you like Giants fans are going to try and write it off. I would not be encouraged by this stretch here.
No,
especially for Carter.
No.
Carter, I mean, this is a guy in Carter who was praised as the next great generational pass rusher at draft time. Giants fans couldn't stop posting training camp videos of this guy saying they have the defensive player of the year. And then we get to the season, he doesn't even have a full sack yet, and he's sleeping through meetings. I don't care about the pressures. I really don't. A guy should be looking at those stats with a little bit of embarrassment and saying, I'm better than this. I've always been dominant my whole life. I have half a sack. I can't get to the quarterback at all. It's all pressures. It's no QB hits. It's no sacks. It's not translating. And I'm sleeping through meetings.
I'm worried. I'm certainly worried.
That's
and I don't
freaky. That's freaking me out.
I don't know if it is because of the kind of defense that they run, and if it's Bowen, eventually you need to perform. You need to get to the quarterback. You need to do what you've done your entire life. And he's not doing that right now. So as one of those Giant fans that were just incredibly pumped up when they drafted him and incredibly pumped up watching those training camp videos, I'm worried. I'm very worried about what this looks like going forward for Abdul Carter.
And now you're in a draft situation where you have the second pick. I don't think the second pick is going to be a coveted trade out spot like a lot of people want to make it to be. I really don't think it is unless Tennessee locks in on making the first pick again.
Yeah.
And the best position in the draft is edge. We're going to do it again?
Can you move Kayvon? And I don't know. You can't do it. You got to trade back and hopefully, or sit there and take a receiver.
Because I mean, is a team going to trade up to 2 for, say the draft order is exactly what it is now.
Tennessee's 1.
Tennessee's 1, Giants, Cleveland, Saints, Jets. Top 5 are if the Browns trade up to 1, the 3 teams before the Jets have Jackson Dart, Cam Ward, and I think the Saints are going to roll with Shuck. I know it goes against my overreaction from a few weeks ago, but that's what overreactions are. I think the Saints are comfortable rolling with Shuck. I don't think they draft a quarterback this year. Jets are going to get the second best quarterback at 5, unless the Raiders make a move up past them.
I think the Jets come up. I don't believe the Saints. I don't believe the Saints are sticking with them.
I do too. I do, because think about this. Mickey Loomis knows he's not getting fired. If Shuck with this cupcake schedule, that you want to talk about easy schedules, Saints have it the rest of the year.
I know.
And if he just performs decent, Loomis is going to say, I win either way. Shuck sucks next year, and I get one of the quarterbacks that are probably better than either of the 2 guys here. And I look great because of that. Or Shuck's great, and I'm a genius for not taking one of these quarterbacks.
Or what if the Jets aren't taking a quarterback this year? Fernando Mendoza was their guy. He goes 1 to Stefanski. Now the Giants are sitting there saying, well, we want to trade out, and the Raiders are saying we want Ty Simpson. We think the Jets want Ty Simpson. We got to jump.
Well,
the
I think the teams have more intel than that. If the Jets don't want Simpson, I think the Raiders would call their bluff and say the 4 teams. Before the draft, because did they sign a veteran that's probably going to start for them, and for how much money?
Yeah, but we thought this last season, and the Titans never did that.
Well, that's why we knew they were taking a quarterback, because they never did it.
But the Titans could have done it either way.
What
They
do
could
you
have
mean?
taken it. They could have signed a veteran quarterback. Probably should have signed a veteran quarterback to start over Cam Ward.
Yeah, but we knew that on draft night. You knew they were taking a quarterback because and like the Steelers didn't have him, but we knew they were signing Rodgers. And then the Giants, you knew were a trade up spot. You knew they weren't taking one at 3, and the league knew Cleveland wasn't taking one at 2.
Everybody knew Cleveland.
I think the Raiders would know, but we'll talk about it more closer to the draft.
Yeah.
Move on here to Steelers get a win, 6-4. They beat the Bengals. Bengals are dead. Burrow might come back, though, after Thanksgiving and give them a little bit of fun for the rest of the year. Why does everyone have to get spit on this season? Why do we have multiple spitting incidents in the NFL? And this time, Jamar Chase spitting on Jalen Ramsey. Why is this a thing? Why are people getting spit on?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's the new thing the kids like to do, spit on people. You have Jamar in any fantasy leagues?
I do.
Well, that sucks for you.
And it's the one league I'm not in first place. I'm in first place or tied for first, and I'm in 4 leagues. 3 of them I'm tied for first. This one, I'm actually playing the team that we're vying for the last wildcard spot this week, and Jamar's out because he spit on another grown man.
Yeah, that sucks. That's awful. Just undisciplined. It's kind of feels like anything goes in Cincinnati with Zach Taylor, and whether or not he's not getting canned, but it just kind of feels like a loose culture over there at Cincinnati, and this kind of crap's going to happen.
If Rodgers is out for a few weeks, Steelers are definitely toast. I don't think that they're good anyways. Can we quickly discuss this offseason swap they did that everyone's talking about now? Basically swapped Pickens out for Metcalf and way more, because you gave Metcalf this huge contract. Yep. Pickens is having this awesome year in Dallas now that he was never able to come close to in Pittsburgh. And it just feels like the Steelers cap wide receivers worse than any other team in the league, because Metcalf is having the seasons that Pickens would have in Pittsburgh. And you'd say, okay, we need a better wide receiver 1. And now George Pickens is doing double Metcalf's numbers in Dallas, which is obviously a wide receiver friendly offense. But this swap looks really bad because you gave Metcalf all that money and you still don't have a passing game.
No, you don't have a passing game because you don't have that guy to go along with Metcalf. But we obviously knew this was going to happen the second they paid him. Like, this team, they're such a mess. There is no future. It's right now. It's, maybe you can make an argument for next season, but it's really just what are they going to do this season? And they are not going to make the playoffs, Kevin. This team is not a playoff team. They're not winning this division. They are not getting one of those wild card spots. Whether Rodgers could play the rest of the year from here on out, this team is still not making the postseason. I do not trust them whatsoever, and their defense is overrated. Had a good game against Cincinnati, but their defense is overrated.
Their schedule the rest of the year, death. Kiss of death, this team. At Chicago next week.
Okay. That's a loss.
Home against Buffalo. Loss. At Baltimore. Loss. Home against Miami, give them the win. Primetime against Miami, throw them the win. I think it's a Sunday night football game. At Detroit, loss. At Cleveland, probably a win, maybe a loss.
Could be a loss. If SHEDEUR plays,
Cleveland's tough.
If SHEDEUR plays, win. SHEDEUR doesn't play, loss.
Home against Baltimore, week 18, probably a loss.
So how many wins were in there? 2 or 3?
2 if you give them Miami and Cleveland.
Oh my God, they might finish 8-9.
But I could totally see them splitting with Baltimore and going 9-8, losing the division still.
Baltimore's going for the kill. Baltimore's going for the kill week 18.
Baltimore's got to go for it. They're not making the playoffs, this team.
No, I mean, no chance of them making the playoffs. I think the question is, are they 8-9 or 9-8? Because 9-8 doesn't get you into the postseason, I don't think, here.
No, it probably doesn't. It doesn't because they need to win the division.
Yeah.
And
No,
that's not
right. I'm
going to the
saying wild
division.
card. Wild
But
card.
yeah, even then,
9 and 8,
you're
I don't
toast.
think gets you in.
Both of these teams, I think Baltimore and Pittsburgh, even though Baltimore might win enough games for it to be otherwise, you got to win the division. That's got to be your focus. We have to win this division.
Right.
And they still play each other twice, so the door's open for both squads.
Get the home playoff game.
Any chance Tomlin gets fired this season if they go 8-9?
I think Tomlin, if he's going to leave, I think it's going to be on his own. I think if there's a job that he really wants, that he's really intrigued by, I think he says, I need a fresh start. This isn't working for me. So I don't think he gets fired. I think Tomlin would leave. And I've been on this train since we've started this show 3 years ago, that Mike Tomlin should get out and start fresh somewhere and really start to build, his own legacy, not just it be the Pittsburgh Steelers and all they do is win 9 games. I think he should start fresh somewhere, but I don't think he's going to do that this offseason.
No, I don't think so either. And then we just jump quickly, talking AFC wildcard, on it for a minute, excuse me. Texans are 5-5 now. They needed to win this game against Tennessee. Davis Mills has now won 3 games as the Texans starting quarterback, and they get back to 500, and now they're the first team out of the playoffs.
Yeah, look at the Texans. The defense is great. Nico really making plays towards the end here as he's gotten healthier. He's a top guy. Nobody talks about him, but he's the top guy in this league. So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with DeMeco Ryans. Now, what happens when you get Stroud back, and what does Stroud look like when he comes back? So I don't think they make the postseason, but they're certainly making it interesting. And this offseason is going to be fascinating for them and what they need to do to really be competitive in that division.
It really is. Is this one of those Mac Jones Purdy situations where you're saying, let's just keep Stroud out really until the magic runs out, and hopefully he's healthy by then, and even if he's healthy next week, we want to keep Mills rocking here because they've been winning and their defense is great. And this might be the best defense in the league.
It might be one of the best defenses in the league. I don't think so. I just don't think Mills is playing as well as Jones was.
I agree.
So I would go back to Stroud. Stroud looked like he was turning a little bit of a corner too before he got hurt. So I think they win that game against Denver if he plays too. So yeah, I would go back to Stroud whenever he's healthy, but obviously Mills is a nice backup.
Another team with a tough next 3 weeks. Home against Buffalo, at Indianapolis, at Kansas City for the Texans. Their last 2 games of the year are Chargers and Colts. So it's right there in front of them. They can win these games and get in, but they feel like the team that's going to end up probably winning 7 or 8 games this year.
We're going to learn a lot about them.
And missing out on the playoffs. Next game, Seahawks-Rams. Going to skip 49ers-Cardinals. I'll touch on it for a second in overreactions. But
okay.
Seahawks-Rams, this was a huge game for the Rams defense and a bad one for Sam Darnold. And I think it told us a lot about these two teams when it comes to January.
I'm going to hold off a little bit because it's going to be one of my overreactions. I'll go Rams, though, because they're not part of it. I just think like this team defensively, they're coming around. You made the video about Forbes yesterday. Like their defense really didn't start the year strong, but they're really coming along. Chris Shula has done a really good job with this defense. So I just like they're such a complete team all around. This Rams team shows you week in and week out why they are the best team in the NFL. I don't think there's any question about it that they are the best team in the NFL. Most complete. They're the Super Bowl. Now the Eagles are actually the Super Bowl favorite, but they should be the Super Bowl favorite because this is the most well-rounded team in the league.
Yeah, they're great. And the player development, I've praised it so many times on this show, but it's unbelievable what Les Snead and Sean McVay are able to do as a collaborative duo, working in the draft, in free agency, on the waivers. No one does it better than the Rams. If they pick up a guy that was once talented, then they're going to turn him into a really good player if he failed somewhere else. It's a bad look for the Commanders, the Forbes thing, because now this is a guy you took in the first round. You gave up on him in year 2, and he's really good right now with the Rams. So this is what they do. They're able to identify young talent, get them on the defense. It's a total 180 from the first Super Bowl team they had, where they didn't win. They lost to the Patriots, but they had all these high-paid veterans, Aqib Talib, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Eric Weddle on the defense. And now they've flipped it all where all the money's on the offensive side of the ball, and they're coaching up the defense so well. And that's why Chris Shula is going to be a huge head coaching candidate, a legacy coach in this offseason. The name itself is going to get him some interviews, and then the performance will get him a job. But Rams are awesome, and they had Darnold in hell on Sunday.
They did. They did. It really did look like those games last year, right? Where Darnold couldn't do anything. It looked terrible. He was turning the ball over, especially that playoff game. So, yeah, not good for Darnold, but I'll get to them in the overreactions.
Big win for the Ravens to escape in Cleveland. The Browns are a different team in Cleveland. They're much tougher to play. They play close games there. 23-16 the final. Mark Andrews with one of the most improbable game-winning touchdowns you'll ever see on that tush-push trick play. Takes it in for a 40-yard touchdown. Great win for them. They needed it. They're 5-5 now. Game back in the division.
Yep. 100% SHEDEUR, obviously, the story in this game, but the Ravens, that could have been an easy trap game. They could have lost that. They were down late, and they're able to come back. They knew how important it was to keep pace with this Pittsburgh team, who were able to get a win against Cincinnati earlier in the day. So they needed that one. Baltimore firmly in the driver's seat to win this division. When do we have the conversation about the Ravens? And when do we put them into that class with the top teams in the AFC? Is it right now? Do we start the conversation right now that this team is fully back to being a contender to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl?
How many teams out of these? I'm going to name the teams. You tell me when you'd rank them, when they're better. Broncos.
They're better.
They're better?
They're better than the Broncos.
Wow. What?
I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust the Denver Broncos.
They're the best defense in the league, and they don't get any penalties. They don't turn the ball over. They just beat the Chiefs.
Don't they lead the league in penalties, or at least coming into this week?
No, I don't know. Last 4 weeks, I know they're like second or third least penalized team in the NFL.
They led the league in penalties coming into this week, though.
Let me look right now.
Because I can't trust them. I know they're great late in these games. I get that, but you're going to run into it, and their defense is great, but you're going to run into a team here that gets off to a good start, and then there you go. It's going to be too late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Denver leads the league in penalties, and last 3 weeks, they're third least penalized, but they do lead the league in penalties. Giants second.
Yep. Awesome.
85 penalties for 729 yards for the New York Giants this year. Probably why they're not one of these teams in the playoff picture.
Yeah, it could have something to do with it.
That's definitely something to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the Ravens would probably be the 5th or 6th ranked team in the AFC playoffs for me, because I don't know how we can sit here after what we've watched from them the last few years and say I trust them in a playoff game.
I don't trust them in the playoffs. In a playoff game, I agree with you. But if we're going to power rank these teams, I don't know. I
think the Broncos, Patriots, Colts, Bills are all better.
I don't think the Patriots or the Colts are better.
Yeah, I think they're all better, especially if they're getting them at home.
I don't think they're better. I think Baltimore goes into Indianapolis and New England and beats them in a playoff game.
I think the Colts might hang 40 on the Ravens in a playoff spot. The Colts are the only team in the league that have scored 20 points in every game this year.
That's insane. I don't think I just can't.
We do this dance with the Ravens every year.
I know, and I fall for it every year, but I think it's different this year because they had this just awful start where it looked like they were dead in the water, and now they're back. Maybe it's different.
I don't think it's any different.
Back to your ex, and you're like, no, it's different this time. I promise.
Because we're going to get into the playoffs, and the offense is not going to move the ball again. Their weapons are awful.
But who's their first round matchup right now? It would be the 6 if they win.
First round matchup would be the 4-5. They'd play Buffalo.
They're not winning that game.
They're not winning that game.
But if it's New England, they're winning that game. If it's New England,
New England has to go to Baltimore. I think the Ravens would probably win.
So now we're cooking.
But here. I wouldn't guarantee that because it's your second time playing them in a month at home. I wouldn't just count out that you're going to smoke Vrabel in May twice.
Well, I think they smoke them in the regular season.
I don't think it would happen 2 times. I think it would be a close game. The second time I'd take Baltimore.
Okay. All right, that's fine. So Baltimore's the second round.
But right now Baltimore's playing Buffalo.
Right now, me and you both believe Buffalo's going to end up winning this division. So Baltimore's in the second round.
No.
So now who are they playing in the second round?
Well, second round, they'd probably be playing the Chiefs, probably. If the Chiefs get in and win a round, they'd probably play Kansas City.
Wait to hear my overreaction. All right, so then they're
No, they would play the 2 seed. They're going to play They're going to play the AFC East in each of the first 2 rounds.
So they're done.
Baltimore. They're going to play Buffalo in one of those first 2, and they're going to play New England in one of those first 2.
So they're done in the second round.
Probably.
Okay.
They're probably done.
All right. But class of the AFC, for sure.
Talking about class of the AFC, Broncos beat the Chiefs at home in Denver. Will Lutz 5 for 5 on field goals. I think Denver's awesome. I think Sean Payton's done such a good job, and I know that the offense leaves everything in the world to be desired on the field, but gosh, they just win. They just win. They're 9-2. They should be 10-1, and they're unbelievable.
They definitely should be 10-1. Still not over that game.
I'll never be over that game. I will never, as in such a neutral game for me, like an all-time no dog in this fight game, in that Colts-Broncos game, I'll never get over it.
I'll get over it when the year's over. I don't know about you, but
I won't.
Kind of sounds like you're the one that had money on it. But
when the Broncos win the Super Bowl, I'll be saying we should have been 16-1 with a Super Bowl victory, and instead we were 15-2.
Okay, well we could calm down. I think we in the 16-1 and
my team right now.
I think we could calm down with that. Bo Nix has an 80. Hold on. 86.1 pass rating, 18 touchdowns, 8 picks. He's only got 2,400 yards here. I'm not a fan. This offense is disgusting early in games. I don't love this team. I don't trust them. I know the defense is the best in the league. I get that. I just don't trust this team.
Yeah, I think that I trust them more than any team in the AFC right now because they just have the least imperfections when it comes to ways to win. They can beat you anyway. We saw them against the Giants put up a massive fourth quarter offensively. We've seen them be able to have those runs of offense that work. I don't think they're ever going to be, especially in the playoffs, a 30-point team. But if they get home field advantage, the way that place was rocking against the Chiefs, and then they only have to play 2 games to get to the Super Bowl, I could totally see the Broncos getting through the AFC.
I'm going to have to make a mic change. Hold on.
Yeah, make a quick mic change. I'll move on to the next game. Lions-Eagles, which was the Sunday Night Football game. And I just thought that in this game, it was a battle of the defenses. I think the Lions defense is much better than it was last year. They're finally healthy. Aiden Hutchinson's been great, but the Eagles defense might be the best in the entire league. Their defense can give it to you in any way. Their defensive front is great. They make life so tough for the quarterback. And the Lions had nothing. And we'll talk about it when Mike gets the headphones back on. But there's a little bit of a concern in Detroit here with the play caller for me. I'm very worried about this Campbell play caller and what they're going to do moving forward. It's a really odd situation, but the Eagles absolutely had their number on Sunday night. And when it comes to what Philadelphia can do to win games, I know it's boring. I know it's not exciting, but Philly wins games better than anyone else. They understand how to win games better than anybody else. And they keep it close. Their offense scores when they need to. They're really struggling with running the ball. The offense feels like the 2023 offense for Philly. But I trust them to win in any matchup. I'd make them the favorite, and I'd pick them.
Yeah, it's I have a hard time believing this Rams team is going to lose to them again. I understand defensively, Philly's really figured it out. Early in the year, this secondary was awful. It looked like it was going to be a massive problem. And they've really, kind of made it a non-issue at this point. So they make everything so boring. They are unwatchable. And that penalty, by the way, called on A.J. Brown, the pass interference on, I forget who committed the penalty. That was one of the worst calls I've seen in a while, all year, really. Would have got Detroit would have gotten the ball back there. And
Detroit would have gotten the ball back and would have lost. That's how much faith I have in this Eagles defense.
Probably. But they are unwatchable. They are unwatchable. And I think for the rest of the world and for every football fan in America, we need to be sitting there rooting for the Rams in the NFC Championship game because that's what it's going to be, right? And I don't think anybody has any doubt it's going to be Rams.
I don't know, man.
Eagles.
The NFC's tough.
It's going to be Rams Eagles.
NFC's a gauntlet. I don't know about that. But the Rams better get home field. Because if they don't get home field, I don't see how you're beating Philly. Philly gets the 1 seed, they're going right back to the Super Bowl.
I feel like they are not intimidated by going to Philly. I mean, I
don't think they are either, but I just think it's too hard to play. Even if you're not intimidated, I think it's too hard to play with Philly in Philadelphia.
Saw it last season in the snow. They probably should have beat them in the snow that day. Obviously, early in the year, week 3 of the blocked field goal, should have won that one. I know they're losses. They're in the win. They're in the loss column, but I just think that this team could beat them in Philadelphia.
But
It's good enough.
It's just they could definitely beat them anywhere. They just win the margins at home better than any team in the league. Philadelphia does not make mistakes at home that are completely backbreaking and lose games. Whereas on the road, I know it's an indoor dome setting, and there's probably not going to be a huge home field advantage. You're not getting the same intensity that the Eagles give you in the trenches defensively. And I don't think Jalen Hurts is as good away from home. I don't trust him as much. I think the turnovers come on the road, even though he never turns the ball over now. But I think the turnovers are going to come on the road at a higher rate than they're going to come at home. I would not want to play the Eagles at home in the playoffs. And if I'm the Rams too, I'm making sure I don't have to play 3 games. They play 3 games every year to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I want to cut out that first round matchup that's going to end up being against San Francisco. Like, I want to get rid of that matchup, that first round game, and I want to get the bye.
They're so boring. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I enjoy watching them. I think I'm one of the only people.
Yeah, I can't do it. I hate it. I didn't watch the second half of that game. That's how bored I was. I watched the last drive. I saw the penalty.
All right, I saw this conversation percolating because we're going to talk about the Cowboys next, and then we'll do overreactions. Rank the 4 NFC East quarterbacks.
Prescott, Hurts, Daniels, Dart.
Easy.
Yeah. For now.
Because I saw a Daniels, Dart, Prescott, Hurts. I saw, and I saw people with Hurts 4. Like, Hurts is not 4.
He's not 4. I'll say this. Daniels can absolutely pass him next season. And if Dart gets the right coach and another wide receiver and takes that next step, he can pass him in a year or 2 as well.
I don't understand that, though. Because Hurts has done everything.
But what do they do? Like, you watch these games. He's not overly, and I'm not a hater. I'm just saying he's not overly impressive right now.
Yeah, but they just, in the regular season games, they just don't give him the leash in terms of the passing offense to actually put up numbers.
But in the playoffs,
why? Last 3 years in the playoffs, he's the best quarterback.
Why, though? Why aren't they doing that?
Because they know how to win in the regular season this way, and then they get to the playoffs, and he's throwing for 285 yards a game and 3 touchdowns and no turnovers.
But I think
his 2 Super Bowl games are the best 2 Super Bowl performances we have seen in the last 5 years from a quarterback.
I'm not disagreeing with you with how good he's been in the postseason, but if your offense, and maybe trust is the wrong word, but they don't allow you to throw the football down the field and be this.
But no, it's not about that, though. That's what everybody thinks. I think it's about we want to just run this clock all game because we have the best defense in the league. We have the running game to move the chains enough.
They don't right now. They don't have that elite running game.
They're still winning. So they're still 8-2. They're still the 1 seed. They're looking at it saying we still have the formula, even if it doesn't look as pretty as last year.
I don't know. I think if they really wanted to open up the passing game, I mean, you're gonna risk this with AJ Brown all pissed off and getting Devonta Smith pissed off because this is the formula and this is how we're gonna win games. I don't think they care
about the receivers' emotions.
I think they should start to because they're gonna lose this guy in the offseason.
You think Howie Roseman gives a damn about AJ Brown's emotions? He already got the Super Bowl from him. He already played a role in that.
Right, but is this a Howie Roseman decision or is this an
everything there is
decision?
Everything there is a Howie Roseman decision. Every single thing that happens, every game plan. He is an MLB general manager. He is doing every single thing, every analytic, everything runs through Howie Roseman in Philadelphia. He owns that team completely too. He will never get fired. Everything runs through him. He's Brian Cashman, but he wins.
Cashman wins.
He's Cashman with the recent titles.
I don't know. I just like with Hurts. I need to see it. I want to see it, and until I see it, like how can you if you haven't seen it since the Super Bowl or since week 3 of this season? How could you then sit there and say, well, he's still a top 8 quarterback in the league?
So who do you think?
I don't see it.
Who do you think is the best quarterback in the NFL?
I still think it's Allen or Mahomes.
So Mahomes is usually the consensus one,
Yeah.
I don't see it from him in the regular season anymore. But I
see
know
it
when the
more so-
big game comes around, I don't know. Do I see it more so? I think Hurts has better numbers.
I see it more
Hurts-
so from Mahomes.
Hurts does not turn the ball over at all. He is the most efficient quarterback in the entire league with the exception of Stafford this year.
Because they're not throwing the football down the field. He's not allowed to make those
He
mistakes.
still throws 20, 25 times a game. Like, he's not throwing it 9 times.
Not allowed to make those mistakes. They're not allowing it, which is great for winning. I'm not saying this is a bad organization. I'm not saying this is a bad team. All they do is win. And when I sent that text message out Sunday, I said, I know winning is the most important thing, but God damn it, are they unwatchable?
They're a boring watch for sure, but I still think on the Hurts quarterback conversation, he shouldn't be a casualty of that.
I don't think there's any question about it that Dak Prescott's a better quarterback.
I think Prescott is better. I'm a big Dak guy.
In every imagination, in every way possible, Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts.
I think here and there you see him make a decision that Hurts wouldn't make, but you also see him make throws that Hurts doesn't make.
Oh my God.
I think Dak's just one of the elite quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah.
And then I think Hurts is right behind that group.
So who's that group? Allen, Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Prescott. Is Herbert even in that group?
I don't think Herbert's better than Hurts.
I think Herbert's better than Hurts.
I think he looks better.
I think he's better than Hurts.
He looks better with just the eye test, but I'm taking Hurts. Herbert's had a lot of stinkers, man.
I know.
You think and I know there's a lot to do with coaching, a lot to do with everything else. You think Hurts loses that game in Jacksonville a few years ago? No way.
Well, here's my issue. He's got 16 touchdowns, 1 interception. And I know passing yards don't really mean much, but Lamar Jackson only has 500 less passing yards in 3 less games.
Well,
they're not throwing the ball down the field.
If the Ravens had the lead in all those games, like the Ravens are playing in games that there's 80 points scored.
Yards per attempt, he's lower than all these guys in the top 10 in passer rating.
It's because they have the lead. It hurts him that they have the defense they have, that they have the situation they have every week. It hurts him. Like the Rams game, right? The Rams game, they're down. He had a great game. He had a monster second half.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
they actually needed him to throw the ball.
Pass EPA. I don't even know what EPA means.
I don't know what EPA is either. Everyone's using it now, though.
Plus 3.7. Everybody else is in the 40s or 50s here in the top.
It's like
10.
what you add to your offense with your passing.
Well, he's not adding much
because
they
don't let him.
3.7. Exactly.
But we're both agreeing that they don't let him, but for different reasons. I just don't think they don't let him because he sucks. Like, that's not what they're saying. They don't let him because that's not how they want to play.
But wouldn't every team want to technically play like them? Like, you have an elite quarterback, but you don't let your elite quarterback throw the ball because we want our run game to be great and control the clock and let our defense win the game.
Every team would love to play like that.
Doesn't every team want to play like that?
But they do, but nobody has the personnel to do it. Except for them. And Denver.
Do they even have the personnel to do it right now?
Do.
I mean, they're barely winning these games. Their offensive line's banged up. They're not running the football efficiently.
They won this game by a touchdown. There was no doubt in my mind from the time they took the lead against Detroit that they were winning that football game. They win blowouts by a touchdown. Like games where the other team, they just suffocate them and they have absolutely no opportunity to win. The Eagles find ways to just kill teams by a touchdown. It's very unique thing. The Chiefs have done it the last few years too. They find ways in box score close games to just actually kill them. I thought the Lions looked miserable on Sunday night.
No, they were terrible. They were terrible. And I think you have to have a question right now about Dan Campbell too, calling plays.
So Morton's going to get fired at the end of this year from Detroit. John Morton, the OC. His bed is made already. You got the play calling taken away for the whole year. I don't think Campbell can do both.
No.
Dable, welcome to Detroit. Lock. Guarantee.
He's getting the Penn State job, I heard.
Imagine that.
He's going to Atlanta. He's going to be the head coach in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh.
If they fire him. That would kind of make sense.
The Atlanta job or the Detroit job?
The Atlanta job.
No.
Or Penn State.
Penn State makes sense for sure.
Son went
I think
there.
he's Detroit OC. They're gonna have to find a guy.
You think he's a serious candidate for the Penn State job?
No,
Not at all.
no, I don't.
Okay.
I think if you're trying to get better, I know he's coached in college before as a coordinator, but if you're trying to get better than Franklin, you need to actually poach a good college coach.
Yeah, I also don't think you could be screaming at players and coaches.
No, he's
randomly.
a loser. He's a loser.
I don't think he's a loser.
He is an emotional, erratic baby of an adult.
I want to get a beer with him.
That's a different thing. Like, I would love to do that. But when it comes
And not
to
just
being
because
able,
he's an NFL coach.
when it comes to being able to lead, I think the last 2 years, even some of just the moments on the sideline, he looked like a complete loser and a baby.
Fired me up when he would start screaming like that, though.
Yeah, and then the rest of the league, I promise you, we're all looking at him like, this guy's a moron. I forget what it was. It was like 3 or 4 weeks ago. He had a tantrum on the sideline. So embarrassing that I was like, I don't even know how you on that, if you're another person on that sideline. It was with the ref. I was like, I don't even know if you can respect this guy after this horrible loss.
Was it the Eagle one?
It might have been at Philly.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, it was the
And
fumble.
it was justified.
It was the fumble. It was the fumble.
But it's just the mannerisms and how upset he gets when he gets upset that make it unwatchable. It was like cringe.
He just cares.
No, he sucks.
He just cares.
And Wink, come on, dude. Terrible. That was your guy.
Well, Wink's a piece of crap, too.
No, Wink's the best.
They're both wrong.
Michigan's about to win the Big Ten because of Wink.
No. Are they going to beat Ohio State next week?
They might. Wouldn't rule it out.
Heard Will Howard had a concussion last year. That's why they won.
It's at Michigan, too, this year.
I'm pumped. I'll be
pumped. That's going to be a big game. Cowboys, Raiders, last one. Cowboys are back, right?
No.
Raiders are terrible.
Raiders are terrible.
Can we do one and done here or no? Can't. It's not feasible.
Have to.
It's so not feasible though.
They're
they have like no money, ownership,
bad.
and they're paying like 6 coaches right now.
How about your boy Quinnen with a big
Quinnen
game
looked great last night.
Yeah. You got Jeff fans like freaking out. Like, oh, look at Quinnen. Oh, great. What's Quinnen going to do for you? You got a first-round pick in 2027.
Unfortunately, Quinnen didn't get to play the Raiders this year either for the Jets.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, we're freaking out that Quinnen Williams is having a great game. Who gives a rat's ass? It's a defensive tackle. Please.
I totally agree.
Yeah, no. Dallas, good for
Dallas. Like, how can we get excited? How can we possibly get excited about this?
No, not at all. I mean, it's just the quarterback. You know, when you're able to sit back and watch Dak play on prime time, it's great. And
he's the man.
He's the man. He's great. He's great. I love him, and I'm a Giants fan, and I love him. He's fun to watch. He's so talented. Makes every throw. Yeah.
And then
he's the only reason to believe. He's the only reason to believe.
I never do this, but I mean, Aikman and Buck acting like the Raiders were a playoff team all night.
Were they? I didn't listen. I was playing
all
poker.
night.
I just had it on.
It's just like how great how great of a job Dallas is doing for the ability to dominate this Raiders team. It was so impressive to them.
I've seen some bad offensive lines, and I've watched the Raiders a few times now this year. They're up there.
So, Raiders, normal situation, you'd fire the offensive line coach, right?
Yeah.
Have we had this conversation this year about who their offensive line coach is?
No.
Pete Carroll's son.
Oh, that's good.
And Raiders fans are pissed because I guess he's never coached line before.
Yeah.
And he was the offensive line coach, and they moved Jackson Powers-Johnson to right guard.
Right.
Who was great center last year, rookie year.
Yeah.
And they moved him to right guard, and now their center, their center was on his ass the whole night last night. It was the first time I've really watched the Raiders game this year.
Mm-hmm.
I've just been hearing this stuff. That's bad, that Carroll's son. You think, does he fire his son? He's
got to just demote him. He's got to get another assistant job. He's like his dad's personal assistant. He'd be his bag man. That's awful.
It's going to have to be.
That's all. Giants took their offensive line coach a couple of years ago, and the Giants' offensive line's improved big time over the last few years with Thomas.
Yeah.
Cameron Brasillo, I think his name is, and, it's been great.
Meanwhile, you got Bobby Johnson in Washington. Their line sucks.
Right. Well, Washington's a whole other mess. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I didn't even want to talk about that game at all.
No, I didn't watch a single snap of that game.
I watched maybe 2 or 3 plays before half.
Yeah, I didn't watch the snap.
Let's rip over reactions here. You're first.
I'll go first. I think when we came into this, when we looked at this Seahawks-Rams game, we would have said the loser of the Seahawks-Rams game is going to face a lot of heat. And, the Seahawks should face heat, and Darnold should face heat for throwing 4 interceptions. But I came away very impressed with the rest of this Seahawks team. So much so that I don't think they're out of it by any stretch of the imagination. I think this is still one of the 3 teams in the NFC that has a chance to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl because of that defense, because of the way they are coached, because they're going to play the Rams one more time in Seattle. I'm not out on Darnold. It was one bad game. I understand he had a couple of bad ones against the Rams and Lions last year late, but I'm not out yet. I still want to give him a chance against this Rams team one more time. I'm not out on Seattle. I still think they're the 3rd best team in the NFC. I still think they're going to have a chance to get to the NFC Championship game.
Let's go. Seattle Sam.
Yeah, I'm not out. I thought I was going to be out after a loss, and I was very confident in the Rams, and they pressed the hell out of me.
All right, I have just pulling up a stat for my overreaction.
Yeah.
Making sure I have it. All right, here we go. Myles Garrett, best defensive player in the entire league, best non-quarterback in the entire league. I don't even think you can have a discussion about it. No debate. Garrett's the best player. 12 sacks in consecutive seasons, 6 in a row. First player in NFL history to have 12 sacks in 6 consecutive seasons. He's on pace right now to destroy the single-season sack record. Right now, he's on pace for 25.5. Record's 22.5. He is an absolute monster. It's 3+ sacks a day, 5 sacks against New England, 4 sacks against Baltimore. I don't understand how people try and put any other pass rusher in the top tier and in the number 1 spot, because Garrett is not just the best pass rusher in the league right now. He's the 3rd or 4th best pass rusher of all time. And the other guys in front of him are not active players. So enough of putting pass rushers up there with Myles Garrett. 1 of 1.
Yeah, he's a freak. He's certainly a freak. And listen, I lost a lot of respect for him when he took away the trade request and just said, okay, pay me, and that's fine. Yeah. Because the winning, clearly he didn't care about that. But, I don't know how far off the Browns are. I really don't. He might have made the right decision. They're able to get a quarterback in here this offseason. That defense is still great. And as long as he's sitting there producing the way he is, they're going to have a chance to compete at like this defense. As Schwarzenegger's been a home run. Yeah. So they're going to have a chance.
I don't know how far off the Browns are.
You get Mendoza. Is that my last overreaction? My second to last overreaction?
Let's see. What do you got right here? Is that going to be it?
No, this is it. This is the one. This is the whale. The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. I don't care. I don't care that they are 5-5. I don't care that they are currently not holding a playoff spot. This team is going to figure this thing out. There's not one team in the AFC I trust more than the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Of course, they're not going to win this division, but they're 3.5 games out. They're not winning the division, but they will get back to the Super Bowl. It is going to be Bills, Chiefs, once again in the AFC Championship game, and the Chiefs, once again, will prevail in that game. They're not going to lose to the Broncos again. They're not going to lose to the Colts. They're not going to lose to the Patriots. They're not going to lose to the Ravens. You're really going to tell me this Chiefs team with Patrick Mahomes leading them is going to lose to one of those teams in the postseason? I don't care if the game's in Kansas City, out of Kansas City, in Spain, in Germany. No chance. They are winning the football game, and they'll be back in the Super Bowl.
So the guy who in week 3 said they were missing the playoffs.
Week 2.
Week 2, so they were missing the playoffs.
Yes.
Now that they're actually in a position to miss the playoffs, is picking them to go to the Super Bowl.
You can't let anybody know your next move, okay? You can't do that, okay?
I could see them going back to the Super Bowl. I just don't think it's the year. I think that they feel broken this season. It feels like a transition year. Brady had a ton of them. Never this bad at this point in the season, but still teams that felt this way, especially the last few years in New England, especially that last season specifically. But I think that they're just not the team this year. I do believe they're outside of the top 5 in the AFC, in talent and in ability. I think there's a lot of good offenses. I think there's a lot of really good defenses. I don't think that they have one of the elite on either side of the ball. And it's just not the season for them. It just feels like it's not. And it's different from the last few years of like they're 8-3, but it feels like they're not the same Chiefs. They're 5-5.
They're great late in those games too. Yeah.
And how crazy is this Sunday game, Colts Chiefs? Like I know that we're all going to pick the Chiefs, and I feel good about that. But when it comes to learning who teams really are, and the Colts, who have had this great season, right now you're lined up for your reward to be playing Kansas City in round 1. You have a chance to bury the Chiefs this week at 5-6. You have a chance to put them away.
I don't know. I didn't realize this game was this week.
This game's this week.
Hold on. Just opening up the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Oh, I love the Chiefs this week.
And it's at Arrowhead, I believe.
Guess what the spread is?
2.5?
Chiefs are -3.5.
3.5, okay.
I love the Chiefs this week.
I think the Chiefs definitely win this game at home. But
they're going to win the game. They need to win the game.
It's going to teach us a lot about both teams.
Bucks Rams Sunday night. It's a great game.
It's a good slate. It's a pretty good slate.
I feel like last week had so much potential. It wasn't great. Like I liked it, but it wasn't like awesome.
I think the league's product is down a little bit this year.
I think it's a weird season. I think I talked to 3 different people, like 3 different friends yesterday, and they all said the same thing to me. Like, it's one of the weirdest seasons like in the NFL in a really long time, because there's so many teams that they don't trust. They don't fully trust the Colts. They don't fully trust the Patriots. And I was like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I completely, I don't trust the Broncos. And I was like, I agree with you.
You know what my biggest problem with this season is too? Everybody this year, when you talk about the Colts, when you talk about the Patriots, when you talk about the Bears, when you talk about all these teams, except for really the representatives in the West, you talk about how easy the schedule's been. And they're having success against these terrible teams. But there are way more awful teams in the NFL this year than there usually are. There are 13 teams under 500 right now, and I think all of them suck.
Yeah.
There's not that 4-win team. I don't think Dallas is any good.
I think Dallas is probably that only team that you're like, all right, and maybe Denver and Miami. I mean, Cincinnati and Miami. We're like, all right.
I think Cincinnati stinks. It's terrible.
All right, Miami's not.
Like Miami's just put up 38 against Cincinnati.
Miami's about to get back in this playoff hunt.
Miami's storming back.
See John Gruden, what he said about them?
No.
Thinks he's going to rattle off 5 straight. Well, now 3 more.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, yeah, you sent me that. We were on that. Recap was on that.
Were we?
McDaniel's staying. That was my overreaction last week.
Right. McDaniel's definitely staying. That's my guy.
McDaniel's going to keep that job.
If he did get fired, that's my guy.
All right, my next overreaction. I'm trying to think of which of the 2 I want to go with. I think the Chargers missed the playoffs.
Wow.
And they're in a bad spot. They're not good. They have so many injuries. They're clinging on to life. And I think the Chiefs' path to getting into the postseason is beating the Chargers again and winning as many games as them, and hopefully having the AFC tiebreaker over them. Wow. That's Kansas City's path. I think the Chargers are the team that get bounced. I don't think the Jaguars are going to choke away the season that like they have in Jacksonville fashion so many times, but they might. And I think Buffalo's a lock to get into that first wild card spot. So unless New England does, but I'm going to take the Chargers missing the playoffs.
There you go. Herbie, my guy. Harbaugh, my guy's missing. Had them in the AFC Championship game. Tough.
Nice.
My final overreaction, Kyle Shanahan, if he's able to make the playoffs with this banged up roster, this would be one of his most impressive seasons of his career. Obviously has had a ton of impressive seasons, getting to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo, getting to the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy, getting to the NFC Championship game with a third-string quarterback in Brock Purdy. There have been a lot of impressive seasons, but with what he's lost on the defensive side of the ball, what he's lost not only this season, but in the offseason on the offensive side of the ball, for him to be 7-4 right now with this team, obviously go with Mac Jones most of the year. Purdy comes back, looked good last week. It's just so impressive what he's been able to do. I think it's almost unprecedented that this guy is able to have his team in these spots. 7 wins right now, Kevin. It really is impressive. So I'm on the Kyle Shanahan train once again. I know it's an every other year kind of thing with him, but Shanahan's having one of those years. He should be coach of the year.
How perfect is this that my third overreaction is the 49ers are the third best team in the NFC?
Wow.
I think come playoff time, I like San Fran to grind out some wins. And with Purdy, they're a different team with Purdy. We could all joke and criticize and talk about Mac and how good he looked and how Shanahan just puts anybody in. Purdy comes in on Sunday, and I know it's the Cardinals, shreds them. Mm-hmm. Their offense looks so much better. McCaffrey's better with Purdy. Kittle's great with Purdy. The receivers are all better with him, and he's such a good decision maker. He's such an underrated athlete. I think that Purdy just makes this team a serious NFC contender.
Let's look at the rest of the schedule here. They play the Panthers, then the Browns in Cleveland, then they got to bye Tennessee, Indianapolis, Bears, Seattle.
That's a potential division win.
You think they go 2-0 here, so now you're at 9-4, 10-4.
I think they beat the Colts 11-4.
They could beat the Colts there, and then I think I'm just going to give them 2 more losses, whether it's in Indianapolis or against the Bears.
Okay,
I think they lose to Seattle week 18.
I think they win the Seattle game if they have to win that.
All right, so let's just give them 2 more losses. You're sitting there at
either way, yes. Give them 2 more losses. You go 11-6. They're definitely in the playoffs.
12-5. I still don't think 12. I think 12-5. They only lose 2 more there or 1 more. I still don't think that wins the division.
No, probably won't. Rams are probably a 13-win team.
Yeah, at 8-2 right now.
Because unfortunately for them, they don't have another Rams game. They beat them once this year, though. They're one of the Rams' 2 losses.
Yeah. I think they could get. They're definitely going to be in the postseason. I mean, with this schedule,
they're the team in the playoffs that out of all 7, I'm just saying, if I was the Eagles, if I was the Rams, if I was so on and so forth, they're the team I would not want to play.
It's so weird because I've counted them out already. Like in my mind, they're out because of the injuries. But you get Purdy back, maybe you get Pearsall back here.
Think about the kind of ownership that they have mentally over a lot of these teams too.
Yeah.
Green Bay would not want to see San Fran. Philly would not want to see San Fran. At LA is a San Fran home game, and they win there all the time.
They probably don't want to play them either.
They'd beat Tampa Bay, I think, no matter what. And then Seattle, San Fran's the only team that's beat them this year. Excuse me, they're the first team that beat them this year, and they haven't beaten them. Obviously, they haven't played that second game yet for Seattle, and they play them at home. They're the only team that's beaten them at home this year. I think Tampa maybe did.
Who?
Seattle.
Tampa
beat Seattle at home, right? That was in Seattle. So one of 2 teams to beat them at home. I don't think that anyone would want to play the 49ers.
Are we in on San Francisco?
We're in on San Fran. San Fran.
Go.
That's how we end this week's show. Thanks for watching. Week 11 in the books, excuse me. You can check everything out on YouTube. Timestamps down below, of course. You want to skip around the stuff. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Regular programming next week on Sunday, I think. Right, Mike?
Yeah, we'll be good.
All right, regular, ready to go. Sunday, 7:30. We'll see you there.